Let me see if I can get in this truck. Yeah. There we go. Let's take this inside and give it a review. Now that we're indoors where it's not so cold, here we have in front of us two vacuum cleaners. This is a Dewalt. Already broke. This is a Dewalt, and this is a Ridgid. Now, what's the difference between these two things? Well, they both suck. I can tell you that right now. Now, I've had this vacuum since the turn of the century. I've had this one for a couple of months. Already not too happy with it. I just broke this. In case you're wondering, this didn't break when I placed it on the ground outside of the van. This broke as I pulled the handle up. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not a good sign already. These vacuum cleaners, as far as I'm concerned, if they ain't durable, they ain't worth it to me. Now, like I said, I've had this one for a few months. This one I bought brand spanking new, I think for 50 bucks. This one I paid 125 for. And the reason I bought this, I was gonna buy another one of these. I left this on a job site and couldn't remember what happened to it for about a year until I went back to the job site, and lo and behold, there it was. But I'd already bought this to take its place. I was gonna buy a Ridgid. I was just in a hurry and I didn't want to swing by Home Depot at the moment. So these were still only like 69 bucks, brand new. So I paid 125, $69. I'll tell you what I like about this one. What I like about this one, I'm gonna tell you what I hate about this one. And there's not much I really hate about that one. First of all, right off the bat, the thing is flimsy in more ways than one. I mean, there's just too many flimsy things to talk about here. First of all, this thing, you're supposed to put your stuff in. Look at it. That's what happened to the handle. It just got caught right then. All right. Now, I guess that's supposed to kind of hold things open. It feels like it's going to break. I don't know. The hose is pretty good quality. This is almost identical hose that came with this, and I've wore the hose completely out after 10 years. So I kind of bought this cheap plastic hose, which I absolutely hate. It just doesn't work worth the darn. It's so stiff that it's just always kind of in the way. This is a superior hose. The Ridgid came with one. I'm gonna buy another one. Look at that. You just hook up. That's the only good thing that really I like about this one. You know what else I like about it? I like about this big switch. This big switch is also protected from damage. They've done a nice job here of doing that. This is all wrong. This, where this winds up right here, that's all wrong. I'll show you why. Because when you go to take this off, that's the other thing. Look at that. Now, that ain't broken. That just happens to fall off all by its freaking self. But when you go to try and take this off, look, it's still attached. So then you got to go and you got to unwind this thing. See what I'm saying? And it's just a big pain in the butt. Now you can take this off and clean it. It'd been a whole lot better had they made something to wind it around the top, because this really is a separate unit from this. What the hell is this? I don't know. Something to take up room, I suppose, inside the already very small dirt compartment. Here's something else. It took me nearly a week to figure out what this was all about. You give this puppy a quarter turn, supposedly, and it comes right off. So what this is some fancy cam operated business in here. Okay, that's real cute. You know what? Lose the cam, Dewalt, and just give me a simple screw and charge me, I don't know, 40 bucks less than what you did for this crazy machine. All right, it's cute, but it's not necessary. It's a good quality filter. See, how much time did that save me? About a nanosecond. All right, there we go. We're back together. Oh, son of a dirty, rotten son of a Moroccan. All right, you got to have this thing orientated correctly. You know, the Dewalt's the same way. Or I keep calling it a Dewalt. It's a Ridgid. The Ridgid's the same way. So what do I like about it? I like the switch. It's square, it's compact, but so is this one. It came with a nice hose. Lose the weird things on the side. And lose the, or relocate where this cord is supposed to wind up. And you'd have a whole lot better vacuum. Oh yeah, sell it for 45 bucks cheaper. Because why would I buy an inferior product for more money? That is what winds up leaving bad tastes. I guess I'll have to fix this. What a cheap piece of junk for 125 bucks. That's what I think. All right, let's get to this. Like I said, I bought this during the turn of the century. This thing is over 20 years old. It works perfect. It always has. It's got such good ergonomics. I just love it. This is about the 50th filter I've purchased for it. They, you know, the new ones actually just press on. They just have a little deal that just snaps over this this center post. It's kind of like a little, I don't know, it's just a bulb, and it kind of snaps on and it snaps off. I like this older style better because I don't have to pull it. Like if this thing's full of dust, and the new style, you got to pull it, and it goes like that, and then junk falls down. I'm not too big of a fan. I'd rather just, you know, twist a nut on like that, but it's all minor. And then the switch broke off. It used to be a little slide switch, but I could still reach it. It's just fine. These are very strong. I mean, I don't treat my tools nice at all. I mean, I just sort of bang on them and punch them and throw them out of trucks and things like that. And that's how I operate. So yeah, so if they hold up, I consider them good. If they don't, now, you know, you notice how this is up here, and I think, you know, before I bought a small vacuum cleaner, I didn't really recognize what was going on in here until I bought that contraption. And that's a disaster as far as I'm concerned. Good vacuum cleaner. Now, suction wise, I think they're both pretty much equal. This one claims to be 5 peak horsepower. This one claims to be, this one doesn't claim to be, this one doesn't claim to be anything. It says 4 gallons, 9 amps. So a little more honest on the power consumption, I would say. Let's face it, what's a horsepower? A horsepower is 800 watts. That's about 7 or 8 amps. This is not making 5 horsepower, you know. I don't know where they come up with these figures. I mean, it would have to be in the neighborhood of somewhere I don't know, like 40 amps or something like that to make 5 horsepower. Come on. I mean, false advertisement. Dewalt got it right. They're almost identical in power. These things have really strong suction when the filters are clean, which is something that you have to do. You have to keep the filters clean all the time. They work pretty doggone good, both of them, as far as that goes. I suck up drywall screws and chunks of drywall, and drywall dust is really hard on a vacuum because it plugs up the filter. And I've even sucked up dirt where you're digging a hole and, you know, you just stick your vacuum down there and you're sucking up the dirt as you're digging, you know, around a footing or something. And that's what kind of stuff I use these things for. If I had to choose which one, it's kind of a no-brainer. I'd go for this Ridgid. It's not only cheaper, it's stood the test of time. This thing is 20 years old. The Dewalt's got a long ways to go. They're probably on the right path. I don't want to beat them up too bad. But Dewalt, if you're listening to this review, take a few notes. I mean, you could save yourself some money on manufacturing, make it more simple, less, you know, features on it, just more bones, bare bones. The cord winds up on the top. You don't need that fancy cam for your filter. All those things would make it a better vacuum cleaner, and you know, and less money, less prone to breakage. You know, I don't know what kind of plastic that Ridgid is using. You can feel that it's a softer plastic. It's a more pliable plastic. It's pretty cold outside. You can hear the difference in plastic. You know, this is a softer plastic. It is not so prone to breakage. This kind of plastic should never be used on something that's going to be tossed around in the back of a truck. I don't know if you got these lily white, soft powder puff fingers and you keep your vacuum, you know, perfectly wiped off and stuck away in the corner, well, buy the Dewalt. And you know, guys, I'm not trying to knock Dewalt. You know, here's what I've discovered all through the years is the different tool manufacturers seem to make certain tools better than others. Like, for example, most of you guys would be familiar with the Skill saw, the Mag 77. Well, I don't think Skill ever made a decent anything else besides their worm drive saw. The Skill worm drive saw is legendary. It's the saw that all others are compared to. And let's take Milwaukee. Milwaukee used to make some of the best hand drills out there. Now they're known for a lot of good tools. They're just a good all-around company. And Dewalt, back in the day, Dewalt used to make some decent screw guns and stuff like that. You know, most of their tools are pretty decent. I own a lot of Dewalt tools, so I'm not down on Dewalt. Ryobi, you've heard me talk about Ryobi. I think they have some good tools. I think most of their tools are crap, quite frankly. No, I'm not going to say most of them. I'm going to say some of their tools are crap. So you got to, you know, and I've done some reviews. Maybe I'll put a link up here in the cards. You guys can check out that video. This table saw has seen some stuff, man. It's like 20 years old or 15 years old, or I don't know how old it is. It's pretty daggum old. The plastic base busted all up, so I had to screw this on there. Man, I still use this thing. It makes noise and it complains and it sounds like it's going to blow up any minute, but it never does. And I just keep cutting wood with it. And this thing just never quits. Now, I know what you're thinking. I wouldn't be caught dead on a job site with a Ryobi table saw, especially one that looks like this. Well, that's your first problem, son. That's because you got an ego. And that ego is going to do nothing but trip you up in life. That's right. I'm kind of a badass. That's because I'm old and I have no ego left. I don't really have to prove anything.